All right, folks, we are back in business. The three amigos united again, back from the Vision Quest. Saunders back from the sandy beaches of Cancun. And Logan is always holding it down with the double whale. I haven't seen that in a while. Let's go.
Well, what's up?
The amazing roadshow shirt. First off, got to give a shout out to Ari. I don't know if you guys can see.
Wait, there you go.
Absolutely, I never thought that 8-bit whale would get defeated, but this is absolutely in the running. Another reason, also, I'm going to be poor. I finally got my
What does that
burnt
say?
hair. It's the burnt hair cologne from the Boring Company. I finally got it. It's all singed hair. It's actually, oops, it's actually pretty fantastic.
What if we dropped it and broke it right there?
I know, and then my whole office smells like burnt hair. So that's pretty amazing. The Boring Company, Elon. You're Elon Maxey. How do you not know the Elon stuff? It's actually pretty funny. They had the whole experience is actually semi-branded. It's great. There's like some disclaimers in there. It says, if you can't read that, the essence of repugnant desire. And then there's some pretty funny stuff. So I got that. And then my good friends over at Shoelace, look at this.
The agency?
Yeah. They sent me sneakers. A hat. Well, maybe I should wear the hat for them.
You're joining the Shoelace team or something?
Isn't that incredible?
No free advertising. You're breaking all the rules.
Hey,
Shoelace.
Gifts are the way to my soul. If you want shout outs on the webinar, just send me free shit and I'll give you shout outs.
Pretty epic right there.
Yeah, I know, right? I need to actually give them some airtime. What's new with you guys? Sandra, you feeling refreshed?
Yeah, oh my gosh. It just gets worse.
Let's go.
You got brands everywhere.
I'm just a walking billboard. You know, as chief evangelist, I got to make ends meet. You know what I'm saying? I'm not on that fat CMO salary anymore.
Gotta make ends meet.
That's it.
You know, one thing I've been enjoying is I've been testing out the Sennheiser Momentum 4s versus the Sony X5Ms. And
oh, really? Okay.
Made my decision.
Where'd you land?
Sennheiser.
I have the Bose. I actually like them. They're not terrible, but the Sennheisers are. These are pods though, right? Because I can't do cans. Oh, cans don't count. Those are the best headphones on the planet. Oh, these are both over ear. Yeah. Cans don't count for me. I get in the long moments of like big jam sessions. I can't. My ears get too hot.
Not with the Sennheisers. Oof, they're good.
They are the best. They are definitely the best.
Everyone said the Sony X5Ms on mine, but then they said the best sound quality is the Sennheiser, and I value that more than anything. So
yeah, when you have an over the ear, you're just never gonna have any competition with like in ear stuff. It's just because you get the bass, you get the whole spectrum of the sounds. Okay, enough audio feeling nerding. How are you, Logan? What's new over there?
Staying busy, moving. I mean,
you sound tired. What's wrong?
It's just been we're grinding, man. We're grinding. So yeah, and we're moving really quick. Got a lot of fun stuff coming. So we have all right, so Recharge is about to come out. So we're gonna support Recharge in the summary page as an integration. We're also going to be doing Recharge plus any other subscription in the Pixel. So we'll get into that more, but I'll just tease that for now. We'll talk about it later. We just launched brand new column presets in the Pixel, which you've never done before. Hopefully that's like a stepping stone to presets everywhere. It can be kind of fun to the summary page. Man, we were, AJ and I last week were grinding on this idea of correlation and causation between metrics. And if you haven't seen that tweet from him, we found multiple instances across multiple shops where the triple pixel ROAS and pixel metrics in general were actually correlating higher to, say, like blended new customer ROAS against the site versus Facebook on its own or Google on its own. So some really cool stuff there is what we were talking about. So we're just like, we're about to redo Affluencer Hub. If you have influencers and affiliates, like we're redoing that for you to make it a better experience, and organizing the backlog to make sure that the rest of this quarter is efficient as possible.
Oh, I love that. No, the correlation stuff is really interesting because with the total impact model, it was almost 1-to-1. which is crazy. So if you guys don't have your post-purchase survey, Get Know, Get Fairing, or just use ours, we're actually giving you 2 free questions as well. Freebies, just grab it, install it, get it done, because it really, I think it was like a 0.85 versus I think it was actually a 1, which is pretty insane. That's something you see in like life sciences or something where people are going to die, or like airplanes or something where there's well, I'm serious though. It's like, it's serious stuff, right? Like you can't have there has to be a really tight correlation there. And to your point, correlation isn't necessarily causation, but correlation at those levels makes things really interesting, and that's where you should look into. So love that. We have the Tiny Tags brand breakdown that we'll get into as well. Just a few kind of updates here, and then some great questions actually, and make sure to put your questions in. Oh, Saunder's already on top of it. Amazing. We have some great questions from Rich over at Looksee. I know I need to get a custom Looksee, Rich. It's already on the docket. I've been kind of blown away with the Barbie campaign. I thought that was something that is, I think it's going to go down as one of the best in history. Can
you fill me in on the strategy? I see it everywhere right now, but I need to understand. Like, let's say, put your feet in the shoelaces of.
Oh man, this guy good. Sauce just he's the shoes he wants some sauce.
But tell me, what are they doing right now? Like, so give me like the overview from 1,000 feet.
Yeah, the brand collabs I think have been the most impactful. And so they did an Airbnb house, so you can actually stay in the Barbie house. They've done, it's been so pervasive that there's brands essentially making Barbie collections that aren't even like official collabs. It's absolutely everywhere. I've been blown away by it. But yeah, for me, the biggest thing was the present. It's everywhere, and pretty much, again, like I said, there's clothing brands, there's the Airbnb house, which is gorgeous. You can literally stay in the Barbie house. There's just this smorgasbord. So wherever you are. So in Austin, there's a really famous mural, the I Love You So Much mural, that Barbie rented it out, where it says Barbie, I love you so much. And then Ken, it's been everywhere. I've found it really compelling, because I'm not like, I have 0% going to see the movie, but the ability to put the marketing machine behind that. And then also, as Sandra was saying, the offline, some guy actually made a Barbie Oppenheimer trailer, which is absolutely hilarious. But I think it's top tier. It's definitely pricey, but at the end of the day, when you have budgets like that, you need to spend them. And I think they've deployed the capital in such a masterful way that, I've been just really impressed by that.
Oh, you know, Barbies are going to boom this winter.
Dude, it's absolutely. So that's the big thing too, is this is a lost leader into all, like, that's where a lot of the money's made, is in franchising, apparel, merch, action figures, things of that nature. And so, yeah, I think you're spot on there, Sonder. There's going to be an absolute resurgence there.
And by franchising, Rob meant licensing.
Yep.
I'll say the other thing that surprised me that I said before too is AMC announced that Barbie and Oppenheimer have the same amount of pre-sale tickets right now, which is like crazy, because everyone's saying this is like Christopher Nolan's best movie today, and obviously like the cast is unreal. So yeah, the fact that Barbie has the same amount of pre-sale tickets is like pretty insane.
It's pretty insane. And pretty much the Oppenheimer marketing has been, oh my gosh, the Peaky Blinders guy, I'm blanking on his name, but it's just like screenshots of him looking like very despondent. He's playing Oppenheimer, the scientist. And so I found that really interesting. Let's see what else.
Wait, can somebody, let's talk some math here for the marketers that are joining, because something's not adding up to me. I've just looked up the Barbie estimate revenue out of the box office. They're estimating a little less than 100 million.
The opening.
For reference, yeah. Well, yeah, but I mean, like, for reference, like Spider-Man did almost $1 billion. So
in total. Not opening weekend.
Office, not opening weekend. You're right.
Yeah, so they're going to do 1/10 of what Spider-Man did in its lifetime in one weekend.
So we're thinking this is going to be as big. You think over the lifespan it's in the theater?
100%.
I think it'll be $1 billion, which is like 100%. A grand slam with any movie I mean, that's all Marvel.
Wow.
Marvel's done like their last like 6 movies have done like 250 million each.
Yeah, 100%.
I think Guardians did 350.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw a graphic on it. There's been a lot of decline there, so it's pretty
Oh,
crazy.
snap. We got a triple whaler. We got a Kyle Boyd on the line. Let's go. I've been really also fascinated with kind of the upstart send lane. Jimmy Kim is doing some really cool stuff over there. Seeing him take on the behemoth that is Klaviyo, I've been really impressed with the marketing he's doing. And then
what's been the catalyst there? Because they've been around for like 2 years, right?
Pricing. Klaviyo's on
so Klaviyo got a little.
Klaviyo's on the IPO warpath, man.
Right.
Cillian Murphy, thank you, Charles. Thank you, Charles. Charles Chen, shout out. Cillian Murphy is the Peaky Blinders and then the lead role in Oppenheimer. Fantastic actor. Yeah, pricing. It's fantastic. Let's go, Richard. Go get in the water. It's just fine. I'll hook you up with Jimmy. He's a good dude. The last thing I will comment on that's in the news, the Taylor Swift. I'm not a Swiftie. Are you Sonder? I finally got Sonder on something. The shoelace is evaporating, and now Sonder's engaged. Taylor Swift is, dude. She makes over, I think 5 million per concert. She's doing 106 concerts. They're estimating that. I mean, I don't know if this article was in jest or not, but they're estimating she's going to save the U.S. from a recession. She's going to generate
she's impacting. What was the
economic impact that she's generating? So like
per city she visits, it's like
4.46 plus billion is the economic impact in terms of restaurants, hotels, et cetera, because she makes around, I think the concerts around $10 million per concert, and then she makes around, no, it has to be 10 million, because 10 times 100 would be 1,000. So 10 million a concert, and she takes home around a 50% rate after she pays everybody and stuff like that. But yeah, so all the Swifties, you guys are saving the economy. So shout out there. But yeah, those any other kind of marketing stuff that's caught your eye that you guys want to talk about?
It's crazy. That whole Taylor Swift thing is insane. I see people flying from like Arizona to, I saw like probably a dozen people that I knew from college flying from like all over the West to like Denver just to go to her show this last weekend. It's like, and like even they had the show in Vegas at the beginning of the tour, and like UDOT in Utah was telling people to plan for a 2-hour delay getting through. They have what's like the gorge here, which takes you through like into Arizona and Nevada, because of how much traffic there was. It was like crazy. Just like, it's wild what she's been able to pull off with all this.
The best music business in history. I mean, she is just an absolute like marvel, and supposedly a really awesome human. So fantastic to see awesome people do awesome things. We have the brand breakdown coming up. We have some questions. If you guys also have questions, toss them in the Q&A. We love to make this about you and not just about all the gifts I get sent, but you can also send me some gifts. Yeah, it's not the Grateful Dead. She's dwarfing anybody that is anywhere close. It's not even a contest. Well, speaking of Logan,
so that is 140 million. That's a good. So I am a big Grateful Dead fan. To put numbers to numbers, they estimated so that the last shows for Dead & Co., which is the John Mayer and all that group, 21 million boost to San Francisco this past weekend. So it's 21 million against her
46 billion across all 100.
Well, that was her entire thing, right? I was talking one city. I think Kyle just said here that it's 140 for Denver. So
that's
it's 21 million against 140. Yeah.
So 7x. Look at that math, kids. Look at that math.
There you go.
Logan, you want to pop us into the pixel updates? Your banging presets?
Yeah, the banging. I wish they were named that. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
You can make a banging preset.
Let's go.
But this is the right one. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, so everybody should be able to now see new column presets.
Wow.
And their drop down. Yeah, so we a couple of ways we went about this. The default is kind of just mine, to be honest. I use just what I used to use, what I like to use, so feel free to edit it. The cool thing is you can take the default here and then customize it, right? So move anything around, add things you would like to it. If there's something here that you don't see, essentially I try to keep it like, I know this sounds funny, but we try to keep it under like 25 columns or so. Like there's a lot. I think we have 50 something available. So it's really up to you. But once you customize it, let's say I want to add like budget and add URL, you can save it as a new preset. You can make this like Logan's banging preset, and then just click, save. Preset saved. And now you can see my preset here. And what's cool is if you work at like an agency, or maybe you have multiple people on your team that are all in the same Triple Whale account, anyone who makes a preset, it's available to everyone else in the organization. So that way, if Robbo wants to see how I'm looking at the table, he can go look at my preset, and capture ideas for his preset, or just operate off of it. I know my old boss was kind of like that, where it's like, hey, what are you using here? What should I use? And it's like such a pain to like send screenshots or type them all out. So now you can do that. So a lot of these came from inspiration from within Triple Whale, and like what Facebook and Google do for presets. But one thing that I think is neat is, like, let's say you want to look at paid performance, and let's hop into Facebook. You can look at the preset we've built for paid performance, which has a blend of API data, like what Facebook has, and pixel data. But there are a lot of customers that just want to operate off pixel. So you can actually swap this to pixel only and just look at it, which that shouldn't be there, but you can look at pixel only data through here, and just see how you're performing across the pixel by itself without having to compare and contrast the other data points.
Did you do that through settings? Is that where you just toggled that?
Just clicking on the column selector.
Okay.
They should all be available to you.
I see. Okay.
And didn't you create one that was essentially the funnel? Can you walk people through that one?
Oh yeah, traffic is essentially the funnel. So
I really like that.
You can see like how much you're spending, how many sessions, visitors, new visitors. Then it's like the funnel steps. So like email sign up, add to cart, conversion rate, bounce rate, session duration, page views. So that's a little. It's missing, like this is missing the entire funnel, which would be purchases, right? But you could add that there and do traffic and conversions if you want. I think,
because that's how I always set up my Facebook columns, was just being able to see the, how many people are landing, how many people are like all the way walking all the way down to conversion rate, AOVs, et cetera.
Yeah. I would probably take that same traffic one if you want, and just add anybody who wants that. I would just add purchases here next to add to carts, and then you'll pretty much have the funnel analysis.
No, I love that. The other cool thing, this is actually a Sonder shout out. Look, he goes dark when I give him the shout out. So that order overlap is really important. And then, so a friend of mine, I used to run his marketing, and then he just asked me every now and then to kind of give him some heat checks. And one of the things what I was seeing on his account is that Facebook was claiming way more than it was actually doing. And then when you looked at new customer conversion rate, new customer AOV, and new customer CPA, it was just atrocious on Facebook. And and then the order overlap, he spends a lot on Google. He has a really big content machine. He drives like a ton of uniques, like almost 1 million to his site every month, like proper website. Oh. And I told him, I would think about cutting your Facebook spend drastically and seeing what happens. Like cut it for 2 weeks and see if there's actual impact on revenue. And he hasn't seen anything. So I think it's a really cool, that's something that you can't get obviously in Facebook, and being really on your new customer CPAs, your new customer AOVs, because not only was it way more expensive to acquire people on Facebook was claiming way more than it should have because he has such a strong Google presence. And thirdly, the people that he was acquiring, they just weren't. Yeah, exactly. They just weren't. I was actually using a little graph down there, but this is even cooler.
I see.
Yeah, exactly. The visual. It was like a 70, 80. I mean, it was almost like overlapping circles. So that's something, whether it's your brand or if you're an agency looking at it, obviously you don't want to ratchet down the spend, but that's something to say, hey, can I spend somewhere else? Are my Facebook ads just terrible? Are my landers terrible? What's going on? Why is everything else in the marketing ecosystem going so well, and my Facebook isn't? So I thought that was a cool little data point there, where the order overlap isn't just a pretty graphic. It's actually really, really impactful. So that was something the big man from Utah gave me.
Love that. Let me talk about a couple of things that you'll probably like.
Amazing.
All right. You know how I go about doing something in public in this kind of setting and then it not work, but well, let me try. So there was this thing where essentially, let's say you had let's say you had your campaign ad set and ad open, right?
Yep.
And then you wanted to go change date ranges. It would always like collapse on you. You're like, gosh darn it, like where was I again? I'm gonna open a couple of these just to make sure. But this was something we
brought
actually
back the
fixed.
old UI.
Not the old UI, but you can now switch like date ranges and not lose the settings on the table. So that one campaign isn't here anymore because I changed it to yesterday. But you see how this stayed open. Before, if you ever change date ranges, it would completely like collapse back on itself and you'd have to go reopen everything. So this isn't the same as the OG visualization, but just so you know, nowadays, if you were ever like really irked by that, like I used to be, that should be fixed. The next thing is this
What
isn't called.
about attribution models?
You want to talk about next gen in a minute?
No. If you change attribution models, does it still keep it open, or just date
Yeah,
range?
I think everything is supposed to stay there. Let's try. Yeah.
Oh,
It stays open.
bless you.
Wow.
Yeah, essentially what we do is
Doing
we
the
cache
Lord's work.
this in the table, and then when you go reload anything, we just take what was cached previous to your change or update and display it again. Because what we have to do is like a complete refresh of the table when you change something like that. So that's why it was collapsed. It would always go collapse. But we're moving the database of this anyway. We're still a ways away from it being complete, but that will drastically change some of our abilities on here. So imagine us giving you a tab so you could look at campaigns, ad set, and ads all by themselves. Some similar to Facebook, that'll be possible in the future as well. Yeah, and so the other thing too is subscription analytics. So right now, this is available for me just because I have like a beta flag on, but essentially we're going to be able, let's say you have recharge first, and I'll explain what we're going to have if you don't have recharge. If you have recharge, we're going to automatically read the tags that we know from recharge that are first order, recurring order, that kind of thing. And then we're going to have columns. We're going to have recharge columns, just like Facebook columns. That will be like first order subscription or new subscription, recurring subscription, churn, and churn rate. And we'll be able to take like recurring subscriptions and churns and map them back to the original source and ad that they were acquired from. And that way you could like over time just understand, all right, we're acquiring this many subscriptions from Facebook, but what does churn look like 30, 60, 90 days down the road? You know, am I churning through 30% of the subscribers acquired here? Which should help a lot. And then you're going to be able to take that information in the near future and take it to the insights pages, cohorts, and be able to finagle that data as well, which is pretty exciting. And then you can turn it off completely. So let's say that like recurring subscription is something that you appreciate, but you don't really want it to be impacting your attribution data. You just want to look at attribution in terms of new customers coming in the door. You can like toggle recurring subscription off, and we'll just exclude it from the table. So any new order that comes in from that has a subscription tag just won't be displayed, as well as the revenue. Carlos, likely like next week, early next week. We're doing testing with some beta people right now to make sure everything's kosher, and then yeah, we'll be launching it next week. If you don't have recharge though, we have you covered. So in the tracking settings page, pixel settings page, we're going to allow you to actually choose what tags on your orders would equal recurring and first purchases. And so then in the attribution service, when we get the information from Shopify, we'll check your tags. If the tag equals what you've set here, then you can use the filters again to toggle recurring subscription orders on or off. Same with first order subscription and that kind of thing.
10 out of 10.
Beautiful. Love it. Subscription, cool. If you can do it, fantastic for a business. That's awesome updates, Logan. Anything else?
Probably.
Logan, what happened to the customer journey update?
Well, so basically, I guess I can get into that for a second. So right now, you'll probably all notice this next gen model, right, that says beta. we've built like a brand new ID graph that essentially can use information that we've like essentially our pixel team is always working to improve the pixel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they uncovered a couple of data points that we could use to blend together journeys of individuals. Maybe somebody changed devices. Maybe it's been like more than 30 or 40 days since they came back to the site. There's some more data that we kind of came to light that we could use to marry those journeys together. So when we found that out, what we did is some testing in the background to make sure it was all kind of good to go. How does this impact attribution? How many orders from first click are now Facebook, or how many orders are first click now from Google instead? And like, how does this change? So anyway, after we did all that, we felt pretty confident on it. So we launched it as a beta product. And so now if you use next generation, not only should attribution be even better for you, as optimal as it can be, we're also going to show you things like if you're using linear all, now without a question, linear all should be the exact number of orders and conversion value that matches like your Shopify shop. Whereas before there were times where orders like weren't attributed or they were excluded from attribution, like here, this excluded. So now if you want to click on this, you can actually see why it was excluded. So 3 purchases here aren't included because they're $0 orders and we don't attribute those. So there's just a bit more transparency, I think, with the next gen models. Now, the Pixel uses its own database for all this data, and Customer Journeys uses its own database to power it. So once we're done with the full backfill for next gen, which only goes back to like maybe end of June, we have to backfill it for life. So then we're going to backfill Customer Journeys after that. So there's just a bit of a delay to make sure that what you're seeing here is matching over there.
Smart.
Loves. Yeah. Do you want to touch really quick on the new web analytics, the old GA4 replacement, and then we can do questions and then the brand breakdown. And then again, if you guys have any questions, just pop them into the questions or the chat, and we'll make sure to get them answered for you.
Yeah. So we so web analytics launched maybe a week or two ago. I'm having a hard time keeping up with the release dates, but recently. And this is probably it probably happened exactly the day that GA3, not went defunct, but, really officially rolled over to GA4. We had heard on Twitter and everywhere else that people just were having a really hard time with GA4. And we were like, well, we have this data, like the data that people really want out of GA4. So we can probably bubble that information up for you easily. So now, as many people know, when they log into Google Analytics, you're likely seeing the amount of users and sessions on your site, your bounce rate, your session duration, how many users that are coming are new versus returning, what's the conversion rate, purchases divided by sessions. So we just created an entire section on your summary page for that. If you're a hardcore Pixel user, you pretty much had all these things. We went ahead and added session duration, pages per session, and bounce rate to the Pixel, but most everything else was already there. But now it's kind of on the forefront here for you on the summary page with path page analytics coming soon too, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Page path analytics.
Oh, wow. That's going to be nice.
Yeah.
Do you guys prefer brand breakdown first or questions?
Let's see. We only have a few questions, right?
Yeah. I think there's 2 from Rich, and then 1 from Kenny.
Yeah, I see the one from Kenny. Let's answer that. And then Sonder, actually, I have something that one question you put in there is a repeat, but it's actually good to cover it again because I got something to announce. Can Customer Journey track the return customer CPA at every stage? I will answer this, but then get Sonder and Raba's opinion. Right now, we don't really assign a CPA to the returning customer, as an individual. In general, there's a CPA, blended CPA, which is all orders, like cost divided by all orders, but not like specifically returning, because we normally take all ad spend and give it back to the first purchase. But do you guys have any other opinions about trying to understand returning customer CPA in a journey instance?
I mean, frankly, I don't really care about it in most cases. I like to understand the channels that are impacting it. I think this kind of ties into the Klaviyo cost as well. Like we're not necessarily taking into account most of your channels that are bringing customers back, like a Klaviyo or a nurturing type channel. Where I do like it on the new customer acquisition, like that I do really like looking at and use that with every customer I'm working with. Is that NCPA on the summary page, and that's kind of like my North Star for anything acquisition. So I mean, I gave I guess a very like general answer there. There are use cases for looking at CPA. I'll just say I typically don't spend a lot of time there.
Yeah, I'm kind of that same belief. I really don't like. Ideally, I'm not spending money on people that I've already acquired for the first purchase, and so I definitely want to see how they flow through. And kind of building on Saunders' point, I don't see Klaviyo as acquisition spend. I see it more so as operational spend, where it's a lever to get me in, where it's not necessarily like quote unquote performance spend. So, yeah, I just again, do I care about it? Maybe, but there's only so many things you can care about. And really what I care about is what are the people that, how much does it cost for me to get somebody to make a first purchase? And then if there are extra costs to get them to the second, third, fourth purchase, maybe that matters ish. But ideally, I'm scooping them up through organic channels or things that aren't kind of quote unquote direct ad spend. I know Kenny has an apparel business, so there's a little bit different there where you might be showing ads as you get new drops and stuff like that to people that have already purchased in the past and now that you might like something to see. So yeah, I kind of see your point, Kenny, but for me it's not a huge for me the customer journey is understanding what are the golden paths that I can take people down that are going to be the most efficient for new customers, not necessarily my returning customers. So I kind of take your point, but for me, I'm probably more in Saunders' camp than anything.
And Kenny, if you want to give some more context in the chat on how you would measure it and like the pass you would want to see, then we can talk more specifically about that. Because I'm sure, I mean, apparel is obviously a very big industry. So more than happy to address a more specific, I guess, path or question you want to talk through there.
Yeah, and let me I will say one thing just so that we can maybe even talk about it if you want, or if you want to leave it as is. But the new customer journeys page, one thing to note about that is that journeys for us in that page, because of the way it's built, end and begin at a purchase. So let me give an example. Let's say that a customer clicks on Facebook and then clicks on a Klaviyo campaign and then makes a purchase. That is one single journey and a single, like I'm sharing my screen, so I'll show you. But it's not, this is the old version, but let's just pretend that there was Facebook and then Klaviyo and then a purchase. That is a path, right? So that's a journey. It's calculated. If that same customer comes back at any point in the future within the date range you have selected, let's say they then again click on Facebook and make another purchase. That starts a brand new path in this tool. So you would see again, let's say it was only one customer ever, and that was their second purchase, and there's only one customer in your entire database. It would show Facebook, Klaviyo, purchase. Then there would be another line that would say Facebook, Klaviyo, Facebook, purchase. There's no real delineation between, like, we're not just expanding this for on and on forever and ever, where it would show people who did one path, made a purchase, and kept going with purchases down the road. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean the way I see it is like trails, right? Like if somebody there, you're gonna lay down the path, and if there's more, every journey to your point is unique, and so if those journeys start to add up, that's why the line gets fatter. And so, Kenny, that's what I would like in your case. That's what I would look at is like the people that started with Klaviyo. And then if there are ads in between the Klaviyo start and then that can be a semblance of is your retargeting efficacious or not. Yeah, I let's see what he said. Retargeting dynamic is where heavy spend is right now with Meta Paid, and Google Paid is sucking down return dollars. Yeah, so I mean, again, you're in that very unique like apparel where you're reacquiring, but ideally, again, you're acquiring through channels that aren't necessarily paid. But I totally see your point, and there can be a a nice break even where you are spending on retargeting that isn't necessarily the worst buy for you, but if you can get those other levers moving and move away a little bit from retargeting and having drops and stuff like that. My fear is returning customers CPA is not going lower. I guess when you say returning customer CPA, do you mean blended CPA?
Yeah, I'm curious if like you're trying to do like you could build a custom metric here that would actually be new customer. It would be purchases minus new customer purchases divided by spend, which would give you would give you returning customer CPA if you wanted to put all spend in that bucket. But again, I think it'd be best for you to focus on putting all spend into the idea of acquiring, and then think about the LTV beyond that. I feel like the math is just easier to do it that way.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm behind that as well.
Yeah. I mean, not to get like too in the weeds here, Kenny, have you tried moving more to an Advantage Plus for retargeting versus a specific retargeting campaign? I feel like that tends to work better for retargeting now than doing retargeting for retargeting's sake. Because then you get a mix of acquisition and it seems to offset costs a little bit better that way as well.
Yeah, it's kind of a retargeting campaign and prospecting close type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'd give that a shot. That's what I'm doing for all my clients, and it's working very, very well. So
nice. All right. Well, let's go to this next one. The reason I think we've answered this before on the pod here, the Webby, but this actually it's a good one. So
the Podnar.
Let's not get into the craziness of why we would add or not add costs for Klaviyo and PostScript. I just want to make it clear that soon, meaning hopefully in the next like 3-4 weeks, we're going to give you the ability to set up custom expenses against pixel channels. So if you are running through Taboola or Outbrain or something like that, you can actually go to custom expenses and say, I spent 10 grand during the month of June, and assign that spend to Taboola. And we'll put that in the spend column here in the pixel. So technically soon you can add a cost for Klaviyo and add a cost for Attentive if it behooves you.
Interesting.
So if that's something you want to do, you can do it, but it's not automated, I suppose, like maybe you're hoping.
I guess just to play devil's advocate, what is the action item, or like what's the actionable to that? Like you're saying, okay, I'm pay like my Klaviyo isn't performing, so I'm going to cut it off. It's too expensive. I guess that's kind of where I don't understand. That's the bifurcation between kind of operational expenses and performance. And you said we wouldn't get into this, so we don't have to. But I'm just kind of wondering, like, what's the if you see I spend $10,000 a month on Klaviyo and I made $10,000 and won like $11,000 say from my email campaign, like what action do you take from that?
I think where I'm hearing customers complain recently is the cost of all the third-party SMS tools, because every additional send costs more. Whereas I think with Klaviyo, you have room, right? So it doesn't cost more until you get to an extra 10,000 sends or something, right? But in SMS, like every single send costs more.
Correct.
So the attribution becomes very important, because like SMS, the Attentives of the world may say that you made $60,000 in a campaign and Triple L tells you 10,000, and you still had to pay whatever you paid Attentive for that campaign. Whereas in Klaviyo, you're sending like, I don't know. I guess I'm just thinking that Klaviyo has better economies of scale, but maybe I'm wrong.
No,
as an email
just
service.
take that to the end. So what do? You stop sending SMS? Or I just don't understand what the action item
I wonder if you would
that.
continue to limit down who you're targeting with your SMS. My action would be
Right.
maybe I'm sending to people I shouldn't be sending to, which are costing me money. So can I be more efficient with my sending?
Tracking. Love it.
Or like, for example, what if like abandoned cart as a flow for SMS wasn't doing that well, but the SMS platform claims it was, but really you find out through Triple Whale that everybody who received abandoned cart SMS actually got an abandoned cart from Klaviyo, and because they received it from SMS, Attentive gives them credit. Where the real click and the real where the real transaction is happening is via email, because that customer doesn't love transacting through SMS or something. I'm just using that as an example. You may like cut off abandoned cart flows and save yourself $3,000 a month, just knowing that that's not really driving incremental value versus the email abandoned cart.
Yeah, I'm tracking. But wouldn't you be able to see that anyways without the cost attached, or no?
Yeah, you would. It's just like,
that's where I don't get. That's where like it's an operational cost. Like, and you're saying, okay, this is how much money I'm making from SMS, and this is how much money I'm spending. So I don't know. I guess I just I need to be smarter, because I still have yet to understand that. But it could be I'm just in that gross operating net kind of thing that I just. But I get what you're saying. It's a if people want it, give the people what they want.
I think from like a lifecycle marketer's point of view, it's more around like campaign efficiency and segment efficiency. And are there any
which has nothing for me, has nothing to do with cost.
I mean,
like the unit economics are the unit economics are there. Like this is just I pay to use this tool. If I'm good or bad at using that tool, that's really not necessarily a function of cost.
Well, what if you could take one of your segments and cut it in half and it drive the same amount of revenue? Then you're spending less to drive the same amount of revenue.
Yeah, but you're still, the cost structure hasn't changed. You're just using less of it. Yeah, it's like, okay, my ads are, it's like my ads aren't, okay, I get what you're saying. Totally get it.
I like how fired up Rob always gets about this.
Gosh darn it, don't add your costs here, you silly kids.
It's an operational expense. No, I have definitely moved away from the because shipping and picking and packing and stuff like that is normally it lands on the operational level, but I actually like to include it now in terms of like a cost of delivery, because that without that you can't complete the transaction. So I do like that. But anyways, we're totally in the weeds. Logan promised we wouldn't be in the weeds and broke it. Moving on.
It's on me now. I didn't slap your wrist enough for the first time.
Exactly. You should have mute.
Yeah, what if I was like Jim Rome and I just shut you down or whatever?
Amazing.
Oh, that'd be good. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna be like your mid-sentence and I just like mute you. That'd be so good. Perfect. All right. How well does Triple integrate with agencies? I would say pretty well. I mean, I think pretty well. Like Sonder owned an agency. I'm not sure if he was using Triple back then, but we give people a pod view. So let's say your agency has 10 stores signed up with Triple Whale. I know that a lot of agencies love the pod view because you can hop in and see, you can scroll through and see all 10 stores with like the top 5 metrics of each: revenue, return on ad spend, total ad spend, all those things kind of aggregated together. And then anyone in your agency, as long as they're in the pod, they can hop into any of those stores, monitor performance. And I think there's still probably a lot of opportunity for us to make the collaboration function better. But if there's whoever left this note, if you're in the webinar today, like
Juan
let us know in the chat,
Robles.
like one thing. Say again.
I think didn't Juan put this in or no? Did I miss? Oh, Sonder put it in. Sorry, I'm looking at Juan's questions that are up above.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if whoever submitted this prior to the webinar is here, but if you're here, just let us know if there's anything specific that you're hoping to understand about the integration with agencies. But I think it's pretty good. And I think we do a pretty good job of making it like your economies of scale too, as you add more of your stores to Triple Whale. I think we make it worth your while.
Yeah. The other thing I would add on there, not to cut you off, Sonder, is you can do really easy reporting. So you can do, whether it's Slack, email, etc. And then with our mobile app, you can see pretty much every part of your business. So the business owner can kind of get what they need to get. And then if they don't want to join the mobile app, you can actually make little share links to show them snapshots of the business if they have questions of that nature. So they don't have to necessarily be in the weeds, because there's a little bit of you don't want to give them all the data sometimes, where they just get dumb questions. Like a lot of times business owners aren't great operators. They're just amazing product people and they know how to make great products. And so you want to make sure that their information diet is clean and gluten-free, if you will.
Nice.
Great analogy. I'll say the main reason, outside of getting wowed by Raba, for me joining Triple Whale is this was the tool I was looking for years at my agency. And we had a 200-person agency with 400 clients. So just some context there. But yeah, honestly, everything about Triple Whale was amazing. What we were doing is having to pull everything from Supermetrics into spreadsheets and then try to visualize it. And so reporting for our marketing consultants, that would be like their entire Monday, for all of their clients, is spending, 8 hours a week, if not more, just on, reporting. And Triple Whale, all of a sudden now completely replaces that. You can pin your tiles, you can create your custom metrics that you do want to see for every, individual client, so it's honestly, for me, it's a pretty big game changer when it comes to reporting. And then, I think you can make a very, very big argument on the measuring performance side as well, that I think is, obviously probably even better than reporting. So
fantastic
nice.
answer.
Well said. All right, so we only have like 10 minutes left, but do you want to go through? We might not get to the brand breakdown.
Yeah, let's see. Alyssa, are you on right now? Because the one thing I forgot to ask you is, let's see, is she? Okay,
yeah, she is.
Oh, maybe we should. I have the brand breakdown done, but I forgot to ask for access to your Triple Whale. So we can either do the brand breakdown now without access to the Triple Whale account, or
I have access to everything. So if she's open for me sharing, I can pull up anything you want.
No, I didn't want to show her numbers. I just wanted us to go through the account to understand their acquisition strategy. But
Got it.
well, you know what? We got 8 minutes, and sometimes we run over. What are the 2 questions? Can we crank these out pretty quickly?
Let's see.
Okay.
Juan from Mexico, Shopify partner. Triple ready for use in Spanish. How long does the TTM take to integrate Triple Whale? What's the TTM in a VTech site?
Trailing 12 months.
Oh.
I don't know what a VTech site is.
My bad. Sorry. I don't know about Spanish. We don't have, I don't think we have any, I don't think that we do any kind of, do we?
I don't think we do localization yet.
No, don't do localization. And what's the VTech site? What's that mean?
I don't, it looks like some sort of live shopping. I'm not super
I don't know what VTech is either.
Yeah, I'm not super hip to it.
Looks like enterprise digital commerce platform.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Is it a Shopify competitor?
No, it looks. Oh, maybe that. Now I'm confused. Juan, do you have any insight? Because this does look like a Shopify drive profitable e-commerce with a highly flexible, low maintenance commerce platform. Yeah, I'm not super hip.
Oh, VTEX is a Shopify Plus competitor.
Yeah, so we don't have any integrations with any e-commerce platforms outside of Shopify right now. We do have Stripe in the pipeline, which is really interesting, but nothing like VTEX, WooCommerce, Magento, BigCommerce, things of that nature. They're on the roadmap, but right now we really want to nail Shopify.
Okay.
Okay.
The next one, I will say anecdotally, Max was playing around with Shopify's automations and was pretty impressed, but I'm not sure how advanced or how deep it goes. I don't know if you guys have played with their email automations. It kind of have like a
It's very, in my opinion, parallel to our post-purchase survey. I think it's a great starting point, but you just don't get the same impact that you would with kind of like a fully fledged ESP, like a Klaviyo or a SendLane or something like that. I do think it's interesting. I don't hate the idea of it. There's definitely going to be so something in economics called switching costs, right? Like how much does it cost me to switch from X to Y platform? I think there's a lot of people that have flows set up, campaigns, et cetera, a lot of automation segmentation built in Klaviyo that they're going to have not a hard time rebuilding, but it's just you don't really want to do it. If you don't have all that stuff built out, I would definitely say try it and or try SendLane. There's a little bit better pricing there. But I mean, candidly, Klaviyo is still very, very good. It's a very, very great. It's a strong ASP, ESP, and once we bring in the cost there, then you can start to look at your cost per, and you can understand the actual impact of it. But
it's coming around.
It's coming around. No, I don't know. I think again, this is going to be contextual to everyone that uses that, but I think the biggest barrier for people is going to be how complex is their Klaviyo setup, because I've seen some really, really interesting ones, and again, it's a really good product, but it is expensive, especially as you start to scale.
Nice. All right, you want to hop into your brand breakdown?
Yeah. Well, why don't you guys pull up the Tiny Tag site, and then Alyssa, make sure that you keep me honest. But so this is a beautiful. Yes, save her some money. Don't click the ad. Perfect.
I didn't click the ad.
Okay, beautiful. So this is a really amazing website. So the way I like to look at things, just kind of doing through brand breakdowns, is jobs to be done, purchasing moments, kind of what I like, the value props, and then opportunities to grow, and then some side layout stuff. So we'll go through these pretty quickly. So, and Alyssa, feel free to ping me. And honestly, you know what? We can bring you on stage if you want to come on stage, or if not, you can just stay in the chat. But the big jobs to be done for me were make mom or wife feel loved, make myself feel beautiful and special, celebrate kids, siblings, grandmas, partners, and then make me feel like a caring partner who loves his wife, celebrates the mother of his children. Those are kind of the big jobs to be done that I landed on. Alyssa, is that kind of where you guys see the big jobs to be done for that? Okay, perfect. So the next thing I like to look at is, when are people going to give me money, right? And so obviously there's a huge gifting vertical here, personal purchases, and then special occasions such as births, remembrance. So if somebody passes, marriage, birthdays, and then high gifting seasons. Are those kind of where you guys see the biggest purchasing moments?
Can you still target birthdays on Facebook?
Ooh, good question. Good question. I don't know. I haven't. That's the OG. It's broad targeting, bro. Just spray it.
Oh, sorry. Don't. No.
Another one. Okay. So here's the things I really loved. I thought the pricing spectrum is fantastic. I love how you can have some entry point pricing, and then you get into some really luxury pieces. I love that. The sizing guide, I think, is magnificent. I love these overlays where you show the product, but then you show the product on somebody. I think that's fantastic. And I thought the branding was really great. So again, the big value props are high quality jewelry, personalized designs, convenient shopping, fast shipping, fantastic, luxurious packaging, money back guarantee, and then some celebrity endorsements. That was all great. The big challenges I see are repeat purchases. I don't know what you would do to drive those, and being able to figure out, because these are kind of big moments in your life. So I think seasonality is going to be something here. But one of the bigger things I thought would be really cool is, because you have this big breadth of awesome products, I think making some sort of product quiz to help better discover the products. So something like a Tiny Tag concierge. Why are you purchasing? Who are you purchasing for? Do you have kids? How many kids do you have? Does the wearer like gold? Does it like silver? Do they like bling? No bling? How much do you want to spend? I think a product quiz would land really, really well for this site. So that's something that I would really look into. I think it's a absolute win here. I don't know if you guys are running DPA ads, but again, when you have this breadth of catalog, I think DPA ads would be a really, really big win here. Another thing that I thought could be interesting was, I love the tagline, but I think one of the things with the tagline is it's very inclusive to or exclusive, excuse me, to moms. And so I think you might be able to play with that in terms of like finely designed, tailored jewelry for remarkable women, timeless beauty crafted for extraordinary women, something where you can expand that TAM out into women, because you have people that might be not moms yet, but that could still really enjoy wearing the jewelry. The other thing that I think could be really interesting here is I really loved, like I said, that pricing spectrum where you have entry points as low as 150, I think, or something like that, around that $100, very impulse purchase, all the way up to $1,100, $1,500, really signature, amazing pieces. And I think distinguishing those price points through some naming conventions might be interesting. So when you get into those higher price points, this could be the prestige collection for the tiny tags, or the signature collection, the elite collection, something like that, the couture collection, where you feel like you're buying a premium product, because you don't really want to have the association with the $150 products with the $1,100 products. So I think that would be a really easy, awesome win for you guys there. But overall, I loved it. I think adding some quizzes would be amazing. Differentiation by price points. I really liked the ship it now, but I would just put that kind of more time present, where they have this collection that is awesome, where you can get it now. Essentially, like, these are in stock, they're not personalized, but if you need a gift, you can get the gift now. I thought that was something that could be really highlighted a little more. I think if you go back to the homepage, I love the reviews, but if you could do some more photo reviews, I think that would lend a little bit more impact than just the text-based reviews. And then the final suggestion for me would be, and again, this is depending on the site traffic, but the tiny tags, journal, and about us, they take up a lot of space in the menu. And so that's something that I would probably move down to the footer. Yeah. And then I would put some sort of concierge there, and then again, break out some sort of like hot collection or something where you're really separating the premium collections or the premium pieces away from the actual, lower price point pieces. So overall, though, it was a really fun brand to break down. Alyssa, is there any feedback? Is that anywhere close to where you guys are thinking? Is that helpful? What else would you like to know?
Give them a Robert rating out of 10.
Yeah. Out of 10, what was that brand breakdown?
I really liked your ability to, or the way that you went about maybe changing up moms for the extraordinary women. It's pretty cool.
I like the gift guides. I think that's genius, having that in the nav, because I feel like that's where
but
a lot of men will want some help.
Yes, but that's why I think a quiz would be more impactful, because like you still have to make decisions here. But if you a quiz, who are you purchasing for? How much do you want to spend? Does she like X gold? Does she like silver? Does she like diamonds? Does she not like diamonds? Do you have kids? Do you not have kids? What are the kids' names, et cetera, et cetera? I think that would be something that would take off all the, because it becomes a more it's a active but passive, so it's kind of an oxymoron there. But it's an easier way to. Sometimes it's easier to answer a question than it is to think of the question and then answer it, if that makes sense. Versus if I can just ask you these things, because the other thing is, you can, from that, whether it's Klaviyo or whatever, you can start to segment people where it's like, oh my gosh, you got this thing, but you also have kids, and that can start to alleviate some of that LTV issue, where the repeat purchase is the biggest thing that I saw from the headwinds of a business like this. I think is something that I would really lean into, where I think, because the other thing is, a quiz is a fantastic thing you can run ads to as well. So that would be my other thing.
I like that. Yeah, I like that, because you could open it up with like, who are you shopping for? Spouse, significant other,
grandma,
friend,
myself. Like, there's all these things, and you can start to bucket the segmentation.
Life event next. Was there a life event?
When's your birthday, or when's her birthday? Because then you get around the Facebook targeting. Now, hey, your wife's birthday is coming up. Do you want to get her? Because the other thing is, they have beautiful jewelry, not just pendants. So you can get her a bracelet. You can get her all these things that, again, the more you can know about your customer, especially if it's self-submitted, it can be something that gets into a really interesting place. And I think anything that you wear is interesting. And then again, being able to segment the price points is really helpful as well, because that broad spectrum of price points, which I really like, can be a little bit prohibitive sometimes, because you can get into paralysis analysis and understanding like, hey, I don't care about the price, I just want the coolest thing, or hey, maybe I am a little bit more price sensitive. So I think that would be something interesting. The other thing, I didn't talk about as well, was kind of a little bit more cross sell, upsell. But again, those can be kind of a little bit more challenging when you have a very segmented, precise gifting vector like this, where you kind of know what you want, and then you want to get that, and then you don't want to have to add those other things on there. Amazing. Well, we're 5 minutes over. I'm sorry we didn't get to get you. I'll send you over all my notes as well, Alyssa. Those were just kind of high level, but I have a big document that I'll send you over. Thank you for participating in the very first brand breakdown. Next time, we'll make sure to get added to your all's Triple Whale accounts. Hit Robba Rayhill, just Robba at Triple Whale. If you guys are interested in doing a brand breakdown for your brand, again, we'll look at your website. We'll look at kind of business models, things of that nature to make sure. And then if we do get access to your Triple Whale account, we can have Logan and Sonder really dig into kind of acquisition strategy, where you're spending, where we think there's some opportunities to grow, where you're actually succeeding. But yeah, it was really fun, beautiful brand. I love it. Let us know how we can support you more, Alyssa. But I think the big things, maybe playing around with that tagline, making a very exclusive collection for using naming for those higher end products, so you feel like there's a reason to spend more money. You can almost think of it like a brand within a brand. And then I think the product quizzes are going to be great, and the product quizzes will dovetail really well with that segmentation, and that segmentation will dovetail really well with trying to drive more purchases, because you'll know when those purchasing events are actually happening. Amazing. What you got, Sonder? Closing out.
8.8 out of 10.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I wasn't even asking for the rating. I'll take an 8.8 on the first one.
It's a 10.
Jeez, a 10.
No rookie scores here, guys.
All That's it. Amazing. Any closing thoughts, words on the webinar? Anything? Are you buffed yet? Can we talk about that yet, or is that still stealthy?
Yeah, I don't know. This might be my last webinar.
Oh, really?
No.
At least as far as a Triple Whale employee goes. I bet I could still join and be fine, right?
Okay.
So you can cross promote.
You're Sandy. Yeah, exactly. The Sandy.
Right,
are you
gonna be your biggest acquisition stream?
Let's get it started.
I hope not. I hope not. That'd be a little
zing, zing.
I'll join next week.
Okay. Do you want to talk about what you're working on? Or is Buff still kind of low key, or you want to spread the word?
Yeah, let's talk about next week.
Okay, next week. Amazing. I love the branding over there.
We've got him for at least one more. That's what you're saying.
He's gonna do one. He's gonna do one.
Gonna come back.
Lips, it just feels so good. Logan, what you got? Dink Club, send it. Tell me.
Yeah, well, all right. So pickleball wise, if you like pickleball, I teamed up with the guy who runs an account called Pickleball Effect. So we're doing the podcast jointly. So go check out his channel at Pickleball Effect on YouTube. Yeah, he's already got a built-in audience. He's doing a great job with reviews. So we're just kind of tag teaming it together. So I'm not solo doing podcasts by myself and stuff, and same with him. So that's fun. On the work front, just be on the lookout for a lot of the changes coming through. The Pixel and Affluencer Hub are mainly the focus right now. So pay attention to any changes there. Ping me back with questions and Narwhal Nation in Slack and or email, and I got you covered.
Amazing. Speaking of email, we have a fantastic newsletter that goes out every Tuesday, Thursday called Whale Mail. You can subscribe right at triplewhale.com/whalemail. And then also ping me for any brand breakdowns you guys want to do. I really enjoy doing these. So hit me up and we'll break down your brand. And then what was the other thing? I think that's it. And then, just keep on the lookout. We have some really cool stuff coming down the pipeline. Some of the iOS app stuff is really cool. It is going to destroy people's screen times, but it looks amazing. It looks absolutely amazing. And then, and if there's any other things that we can do to make this webinar more, I guess Podnar, it's probably it's like a podcast /webinar, more impactful for you guys. Let me know, submit questions to me on email, anything of that nature. But we're 9 minutes over, so I'm sorry for taking up your time and not adhering to our calendaring, but very on brand for me. Feels good to be back. Sonder, amazing. Logan, amazing. You guys are the best. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.